All right, well, the win of Donald Trump has certainly sent some reverberations through Australian politics. Joining us now on the panel, Shadow Assistant Treasurer Luke Howarth. Thanks for your time. I know you were watching on in earnest as this all unfolded. What do you make of it? What would you say is relevant to Australian politics from what happened?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I mean, what a historic day yesterday really was. It was an amazing victory for Donald Trump. I mean, when you look at what he's been through in the last sort of 12 months, let alone 6 months, with assassination attempts and all the court cases he's had, I don't think anyone was expecting him to do as well as what he did, and probably better than what he did in 2016 with winning the popular vote as well. So I think what it comes down to, Bart, is he was talking about a message that was relevant to everyday people, to the workers, you know, in those states in central USA and right around the country, that many of the elites and the people that were barracking for the Democrats, you know, the movie stars and the pop singers, they just don't understand what life is like, that cost of living is high, that their manufacturing jobs are drying up, that their coal and oil, gas and mining jobs are going. And I think what Trump did is he touched a nerve there with those people to say, I'm hearing you, I'm listening to you. And that's what got him over the line. And, you know, I think it's relevant here in Australia as well. The Albanese government is in a similar boat to the Democrats.
It sounds like we won't see Nicole Kidman or Hugh Jackman at your campaign launches then from all of that.
Great Australians, but no.
Do you well,
no thanks, yeah.
Are you saying they're welcome or...?
Oh, I'm saying they're good Australians, mate, you know, but I'm just saying that in this case, what happened over there with those movie stars being rolled out and the actors and Taylor Swift and the rest of them, Lady Gaga, I think the list goes on, it didn't, you know, resonate with everyday people in the United States.
But they lost touch, is that kind of what you're saying? It looked
pretty
like
well.
Lost touch.
You know, it's like these people that are loaded, they've got millions of dollars sort of saying, oh, well, we're fine, and then you need to get on board when these people are struggling to pay the bills and are worried about job security.
Do you think that anything will be made in our campaign trying to compare Peter Dutton and Donald Trump in terms of saying we represent, you know, people who don't feel like they have a voice in Canberra? Is that the path you want to go down, or we should keep our politics separate from that?
Well, I mean, I think people react well at the moment to strong leadership, and clearly Peter Dutton is a strong leader. You know where he stands on a whole lot of issues. He's not wishy-washy and weak like Albanese. So, and people are doing it tough. You know, we've seen in the last 2.5 years many of the same priorities and issues that have been raised in the US are relevant here. People are worried about cost of living, particularly since Albanese came to government. He was focused for 18 months on the voice and woke issues. He didn't mention cost of living until after the voice vote was lost 60-40 here. And right now, with 6 months to go, in question time today, him and his ministers are not governing today. They're talking about their election campaign in May next year. Wake up, you're in government. People are struggling, but they're not listening.
Well, that message that Donald Trump used that seemed to really cut through in those results was, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? We brought this up earlier. The Bureau of Statistics keeps the cost of living index. It says the cost of living for everyday workers has gone up 17% since the election. So that's baked in whatever happens from here. Are you going to be telling people or asking people that same question? Are you better off than you were 3 years ago?
Well, absolutely. And the overwhelming response that I get is people are not. Under the coalition government previously, had one interest rate in 9 years. Under Albanese, you had 12 in 1 year. You know, that has sent rents through the roof, mortgages through the roof, and people in my electorate and right around the country are feeling that. And not just that, you know, you've got gas prices up 33% and energy bills, which Albanese said would be cheaper, are well up around 15%. So I think the plans that we have, you know, around housing, around cost of living, around stronger communities and safe communities will resonate with people. And Peter Dutton does have a good feel for what Australians think, particularly in Queensland. I believe that he's very much in touch with Victoria and New South Wales and WA as well.
Are you comfortable with what Trump means for the alliance, for Australia's position in the world?
100%. I mean, look, he was good previously in the sense that the alliance was strong. I think what resonated there, you know, he hadn't started wars and so forth. So I am concerned, Bud, about the comments from Albanese and the Ambassador Rudd. And as we saw prior to 2019 when Bill Shorten was leader as well, I called for him to step down given his comments. But they're reckless, you know, and this is the thing. You don't see members on our side criticising Kamala or Hillary to what the extent that they do. We've got a current sitting Prime Minister that bagged...
Your backbenchers had some colourful comments to say about it.
Yeah, well, they're not current sitting Prime Ministers. This guy was he's a current sitting Prime Minister and he was a senior frontbencher when Trump was president last time, bagging him. And in relation to
worried
Rudd,
about that though, wouldn't you not constantly talk about it because they might, hear us talking about it, hear you talking about it, hear Peter Dutton talking about it, and going, "Oh yeah, let's look at the comments." Wouldn't you actually not mention it if you were really worried?
Well, I'm just saying that it just shows poor leadership when you've got that. Like,
But you're highlighting it, so it might get noticed and have an effect in the US.
Well, I don't need to highlight it. I mean, Trump already knows. We've heard his comments on Rudd, and he's not a silly man. He knows what's going on. So, me talking on Sky News here in Australia, I don't think necessarily that Trump's watching, but he knows.
Might be.
He might be. It's a good show. He should watch. He should watch. He should tune in. But no, look, he knows what's going on. So that is a bit of a concern.
Do you think he should be removed as ambassador? We saw the PM and the Foreign Minister today strongly backing Kevin Rudd in.
Well, I think he's got poor judgment removing the post today. They should have been removed when he became ambassador 6 months ago. Why remove him today? We knew that Trump was the front runner, that he had control of the Republican Party, and he was always going to run in this election. And then he removes him today when he wins, not when he was ambassador 6 months ago. It's poor judgment, and we've seen this on a number of issues, but this is really poor leadership.
JD Vance also made some famous descriptions of his now boss, the Vice President, calling Donald Trump all sorts of things in the day. So Donald Trump obviously can look beyond that if people are willing to be constructive with him.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope that he can look beyond it because, it's poor judgment from Albanese, and Rudd and other members in the front bench of the Albanese Labor government. And I just think that...
Sorry, can I ask finally, we're nearly out of time, but the RBA is giving a warning to both major parties really about spending because inflation's still there. When we tally up your election promises next year, will you have a conscious focus to have savings add up to more than new spending?
Well, I think that'll definitely be a conscious focus of the coalition. We want to make sure that we're not recklessly spending. We've seen them do it and inflation remain higher than what it should be.
Net savings when we tally up your election promises?
Yeah, we will go to the election with a strong budget position. I would just say, but all of these promises from Labor off budget, $16 billion
but you don't have to keep them. I'm just saying
off budget is a real concern. And free TAFE that they want to bring in when they've got a 13% completion rate. I mean, it's a joke, and their whole focus at the moment is May next year. We're still in November. They should be focusing on government. But us in opposition will have a strong focus on the economy and keeping interest rates low.
We'll wait to speak to you then. Luke Howarth, thank you.